Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to welcome to Get a Whale's eyeglasses and his forehead. Welcome to Nine and Out, episode 5. TurboCop unfortunately can't be with us tonight, but we have our very seasoned casters, Kip and Get a Whale, our UGC spy, DJ, myself, Cold, and our special guest from across the pond, Hildreth. Hildreth, say hello to everybody.
Hello.
Thank
you
you very
guys
much.
want to see my cup that has my name on it?
No.
Yes. Oh, Henry.
Nice.
Oh, Henry, like the bar. He's from across the pond in the land of James Bond. His name is Hildreth.
Oh, how long were you
thinking
did it
up
take you
that?
to come up with that? Yeah.
I just thought of that. I think of things. I'm a caster, Hildreth. I talk. That's my job.
Yep.
I make millions of dollars doing this on TF2. We all know that. But you're our guest this week, and people... I think a lot of people do know you. You just obviously put off a huge event for North American Highlander, but maybe give a quick introduction. What's the deal? Who are you, sir? How did you get to this place in your career where you're talking on a Highlander podcast?
Very poor social life and lack of self-discipline. But in TF2 terms, if you really want to know, I played this game since spring of 2009, I think. Or I can't remember. Spring of 2008? I'll have to check my my medal that I got Mercenaries thingy to see exactly when. I played this game for at least 5 years, nearly 6, actually, and competitively for nearly 5. So I've been around.
And you've played competitive, obviously, and you know about both Euro and North America, which is good. Not a lot of people follow both.
Yeah, this is a real lesson to you kids out there. If you want to get a good job, don't do what I did. Stay in college, go to bed at sensible times. Do not play North American Highlander until 4 AM, okay? You
So I'm sure all the kids know that. We can talk a bit more about your deal in a little bit, but we want to review some of the Highlander stuff from this week and talk about the season and all those kinds of things. And I want to point out, if you guys are in chat and you have questions this show, put them in chat, and Mr. DJ is going to be collecting questions together. I talk with my hands. And asking questions. So at the end, we'll have all those questions. So whether it's a question for Hildreth or for any of us, hopefully Hildreth, because we're boring. We don't have things to say. But DJ, you're going to do that, right?
Yep, just whenever you guys have a question, put it in the chat. I'll keep my eye on the chat. I have it popped up over there, and I have a document here, and then there's other things and stuff, and I'm keeping track of them. So I'm going to pull out a lot of the questions, and we're going to have a time for that towards the end. And yeah, just have them posted whenever you think of them.
And we'll remind again in a little bit, too, as we get more viewers, as people join up. So let's see. We want to start with week 4. Kip, do you want to talk about the week that was in UGC North America?
The week that were in UGC was actually a really, really exciting week. 3 out of the 5 games went to a score of 4-3. Yep. One of the the watched one, the match of the week for XTV's coverage, Getaway was casting, of course, with Eckstein, was the Gentleman's Club versus Electric Temptations. And we could talk more about that later, but a huge comeback victory for Electric Temptations, basically handing a huge upset victory to Gentleman's Club, or defeat to Gentleman's Club. Yep. And then we had Menace to Society versus Dunning-Kruger Effect. That went 4-3 in favor of MTS. PsyOps beat Stag Party 4-1. Dead Ringer Storage versus UBS went to 4-3 also. Don't have the stats or anything from that, but that would be interesting to see what happened in that game. That DRS, reigning invitational champions, had the game go to 4-3 before they were able to win. And then Murderforce 9000 took their game against Blunderful 4-0. And I heard that was a pretty close game until the last round. But still, some good matches, it looks like. So some even matchups. So that's good work. And a fun day or a fun week, hopefully, for all in Coal Plant B7.
Mm-hmm. Coal Plant. And so what do we all think of Coal Plant? Maybe we can take turns here. Maybe starting with...
let's go clockwise. Yeah.
Let's go clockwise. So who's first? I gotta look at the thing. Who's first, Cold?
I'd say Hildreth.
Hildreth, you start it. What do you think of the Coal Plant map? Is it good? Is it bad? Should it stay or go?
Is this PG-13?
You can drop one
sort of,
F-bomb.
yeah, it's sort of
You can
aimed
say
at one,
things.
but we try and keep the swearing minimal.
Okay, well, Coal Plant is it's okay, but I feel like Asheville's probably a better map. But I don't really like either map, to be honest. They're not very. Can't really explain why I don't like them. I just don't really like them. It's just there's not very much.
Is that coming from someone who doesn't really particularly like Koth maps, or are you saying they just both
I
don't
like
interest
Koth
you?
maps.
Okay, I just want to
Don't
make sure.
mind them. I just don't really like Coal Plant or Asheville.
All right,
Not
just want to
really-
get your perspective.
Yeah.
Not
Kip,
really
do we
my
throw it
maps.
out of the? Do we throw it out of the rotation? Do you think, or would you agree with that?
I don't know. I think it brought some really close games, as we're seeing with the, at least represented in at least what we saw in Platinum. I'd be interested to see how the other leagues played it, or the other divisions played it. Man, words. But I thought it would brought some really close battles. And I didn't go in liking it, but I think I came out after playing some lobbies and watching some scrims, and then of course the matches. I think I'm coming out on top in favor of it, and I think it deserves a place in the regular rotation.
I'm looking at some of the scores now in other divisions because it's a good point.
yeah.
I'm kind of curious too. Looking at gold and silver and that. If you guys during Twitch chat had a match this week on Coal Plant, you want to tell us how it went, you can do that and get involved. No 4-3s in gold, but there was some in silver. I think it's close, but I mean, isn't that just a Koth map thing? I mean, think of matches on Viaduct and a lot of those other maps.
Yeah.
There have been a lot of close matches over the years, haven't there, on Koth maps?
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true.
The Koth maps tend to push a lot of the attack strategy, so there's not much to do about defending, rather attacking and pushing and holding, and attacking and pushing and holding. It's not really a focus on the holding, so it's going to be a lot of back and forth. So I think that's why it ends up being really stalematey, like or not stalematey, but even. I don't know what the word is, but like a lot of 4-3 games, we'll say. But I think that's what lends to that, is the constant pushing back and forth rather than holding and pushing back and forth.
Cold, what do you think? Oh,
Well-
sorry.
Well,
I want to
for,
hear from Cold. He has strong opinions on maps, right?
I do have strong opinions. They're so strong. I'll start off with Coal Plant, and I think it started off as a couple people said, "Hey, Asheville kind of sucks. We're getting tired of it. What about Coal Plant?" And we've heard that it's been optimized. It has different lighting. It's not so offensive. It's been toned down a little bit. Let's give that a try. So UGC said, "Okay, we'll try it out and put it in since people wanted to ask for it. Looks like an all right map since it's pretty much Asheville, you know." I guess a lot of people didn't like the blocking the sniper sightlines, but I think it kind of helped even it out a little bit. With that said, I thought it was watching last night's match was a showcase that it was just very intense. That if you switch up your strategy, Koth maps, I think in general, just make for great play, either Highlander or 6v6, because Highlander is kind of tough to. Highlander's kind of chaotic in the first place, but Koth, it seemed a lot. Every class was able to get some work done, if you know what I mean.
Cool. Well, Coal Plant is done, and we don't have to think about it anymore.
No, we don't.
It's over now. It
So
doesn't
yeah,
matter.
if anybody didn't like it, it's gone now. You can put it to rest.
Yeah. But so let's move on then and talk about some of the things. Big thing we want to talk about this week is the season's halfway done. It's already halfway over. Can you believe it? 4 weeks down. And there are some things that we want to discuss, a few points about things we thought were going to happen at the start of the season and where we actually stand right now. And Hildreth, you know a lot of this stuff because obviously you organized the Highlander Invitational, and we saw, I mean, a ton of these teams. But maybe we'll talk about Murderforce first. A lot of people were saying at the start of the season, Murderforce 9000, they're going to be the best team ever. They're amazing. It's the best super team ever, and they're kind of not. They're not. They're not the #1 team. And I mean, a big thing has been there's been no banny on demo. Not that they have a terrible demo now, but a lot of people were saying, "Wow, Banny's getting into Highlander, and it's crazy." And oh my God, these IT guys.
No.
What's the deal with that? Tell me what you think happened with Murderforce.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Murderforce. So don't they have Mailer on demo, and Fathom, and that's the team with Fathom. Mailer, Remedy, Shrugger. Yeah, I'm thinking they're not very keen. That's what I can tell from them. I mean, from talking to Stabby, I'm surprised he even played this season because he was talking about quitting.
Really?
Yeah, before, but obviously I think the idea of winning something like $50 each was too much for him. So he came back. They don't seem very keen. They don't seem to practice very much. They don't seem to focus on anything when they call it. I've watched a few of their streams. They don't seem to have like a real main caller other than their medic Indust. Which medic isn't the best class to do it, I know from experience. You want to be demo man or heavy or something. Players aren't good enough. Some of them just aren't keen enough. Like Mailer, for example, on demo, he's a good player. Mailer, if he tries, puts his heart into it, he could be really good. But he's just overextending all the time, not particularly amazing, hitting every pipe. So he's dying a lot. They're very out of sync. What more do you want to know? They're just not a team.
Well, I mean,
they're 9 individuals who turn up and expect to win, and then they lose. They're a bit like SNSD from season 4.
People wouldn't know about SNSD, but I mean, the thing about Murderforce, it's a lot of sixes players, and do you think is that an issue, or the core of sixes players, and plus the fact that it's a new team and a lot of these guys haven't played together before? Do you think those are factors too?
I suppose it does make sense because some of them, I wouldn't say some of them aren't used to Highlander. They've all played it. It's just there's a lack of team cohesion. I mean, not having Banny is really big because having played with Banny a couple of times when he was backing up for TS, he was really good every game he played except one where he just got headshot by Max all the time. But he got ridiculously good game sense, and if he put his mind into it, he would be probably the best easily, bar nobody. So it's a big loss not to have them, probably for the morale, and then they haven't really gelled together as a team since. Maybe Banny will be back for the playoffs, you don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, my understanding was he got a job and he's got real life schedule that doesn't gel with
Getting in the
job
way
outside of
ambitions.
TF2. Can you imagine?
The next big club, or the next big team that everyone was talking about was obviously Gentlemen's Club, another one of these super teams bringing together just an amazing roster that is kind of like, oh, well, they're automatically going to be the winners of the season. And then we obviously saw them fall in the Invitational Cup to first DRS and then ET, and they're just completely knocked out. And that just was, on one hand, astounding, but on the other hand, it was like, oh, okay, well, no, this is just not that. This is not a part of the season. This is something they're going to recover from, and we're still looking at, the number one champions or whatever. But the fact that they lost last night and lost because they lost 4 rounds in a row is something that is kind of incredible. And I was watching Ruin's stream at the time. I was flipping between the cast and the stream, and Ruin, man for Gentlemen's Club, was saying things like, this is just Ginyu Force all over again. And Ginyu Force, of course, was the favorites coming into last season, but they dropped out before the semifinals in the playoffs, just kind of collapsing in on themselves. Do you have any thoughts on Gentlemen's Club, either from what you saw in the Invitational or just kind of in general about these super teams like Ginyu Force or Gentlemen's Club that just kind of can't sustain themselves throughout the season?
Oh, you mean me?
Yeah, Hildreth. Sorry, I was
We're not
looking
going to
at
hear
you.
from DJ.
Well, anyone can jump in. Anybody
I
can
know
jump in
DJ's
with
got a
comments
lot
at
to
any
say
time.
about this. Haven't you,
All of
DJ?
us, we can all talk, but you're our guest.
Okay. Gentlemen's Club. I haven't seen much of them since the Invitational. I've expected them to be a lot like better because from playing with Valen in the past, I know he's very keen about the tactical side of the game.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted by you guys. I'm moving my hands around. Okay, I'm not going to look at this stream anymore. Don't want to look at your ugly faces anyway, to be honest.
You're never coming back on this show, buddy. You can't say we're ugly just because we're from North America.
Should I get back about the Gentlemen's Club?
Yes.
You have
Yeah,
any-
That'd be appropriate.
That's convenient for you.
I have the floor. Okay. Gentlemen's Club, I haven't seen too much of them other than the Invitational. I expected them to be really tight, tactical sort of team with lots of strategies, that sort of thing. They have a really solid caller in Ruin, and obviously Valen's playing on the flank. I don't remember who their soldier is. Grape, yeah, they've got a ridiculously good team. I don't know why I guess they're just choking because they have the best team, but nobody should underestimate the Electric Temptations as well.
Yeah, let's talk them. What do you see from them that doesn't make you want to underestimate them?
Well, they have the best sniper in the league at the moment. Sorry, Max.
Ooh,
You know, he's gonna be a bit sad, writing death threats to me, but it might be great.
The big declaration. I don't know if everyone will agree with you there. I know they're the number one and number two snipers.
I think in fantasy
was
points,
great,
FaZe
though.
is winning.
FaZe is on form.
FaZe got going last night, and it was unbelievable. You should watch the VOD, Hildreth, if you can.
I hear a lot about him when he gets going.
That's the difference between Max and FaZe is Max is very consistent. However, when FaZe warms up and he gets his gun all cleaned and lubed up, he just exceeds, and his ceiling just he just shoots through the ceiling, and he's getting everything. He was just doing awesome last night.
Yeah, people use the word streaky with FaZe, which is a little unfair, but it is true. Once he gets in a groove, it's crazy.
Yeah, he digs a deep groove, and he'll shoot far.
Are we talking about FaZe's foreplay or sniping skills, just so we're on the right track? No.
Get your mind out of the gutter, mister.
Made a sexual joke. That was.
No, I'm just a bit confused. Okay, so
you just heard the word lube, and your mind just goes off.
Dirty Brits.
No, it sounded very interesting, intimate.
All right. What else can you tell us about ET? Let's go back.
I really like that team.
FaZe...
Like their teamwork, and 38 Specials really impressed me.
Yeah.
I mean, him and Ruin played really well with 38 Specials. Been probably the best demo I've seen in the season in terms of just damage dealing.
Ooh.
But that team, they've changed a few people around. They got Decimate on Scout, who's a monster. Kill 'em all, doing some more calling for the combo. This team came third last season. They upset Ginyu, and they've built on their team. They've improved it. So the one problem they had was a medic, and I know this because they asked me if I wanted to trial. And I said, do I look like the guy who stays awake after 1 AM? Yeah.
And after they persisted, you said what?
Heyo.
Well, luckily for them, they got their ex-medic 404 back on, and that's just I've always rated 404 since I've become aware of him. In Season 9, I first became aware of him, and I always thought he was a really good player, but he was playing on... Obviously, this team back then was a bit lower down.
Yeah.
Back in the day, Street Hoops was shit, It's all back in the day. But Electric Temptations just an upcoming thing. They keep improving their team. They're getting better and better, and they're all just on top of their game, and their teamwork is incredible. So I'd put them down as like the best team. Even I'd have put them down to upset Gentleman's Club, because I don't think they really found the teamwork yet. Because again, it's a sort of less bad version of Murderforce, where it's 9 individuals. Sort of, they've not really found the teamwork. They've got really good players on that team, and if they gel, they will be the best team. But ET are the best team at the moment, and they have the best sniper, and that's pretty much 50% of Highlander.
Well, do you have insight then on, say, MTS or DRS? And those are two teams that the notes here are their up and down performance. DRS obviously were so strong on your Invitational. MTS were fantastic last season and have a lot of the same players back, but they've been kind of MTS 3-1, granted. DRS is 2-2. What? How come? Are they just outmatched by these? Are they outmatched by these super teams? I mean, they're obviously very strong teams in Hildreth.
Who have MTS played this season?
Who's playing this season?
In the Invitational, like MTS, they're just not practicing.
They didn't
That's
have
all
their
I know
full
about them.
roster.
They normally just don't practice anyway. It's quite obvious they're not practicing, so that kind of affects it. But they're good enough to get where they want to be. In playoffs, so it doesn't really matter to me. I think come playoffs, they'll probably be one of the teams to make the top 3. You'd never rule them out. MTS just don't.
Their only loss this season came to ET on Lakeside.
They still got Noko, they still got Marissa, they still got the demo man. Who's their demo? Is it? It's Platinum. Isn't it?
Demo is
It's Platinum, yeah.
Yes, Plat.
And huge pickup, Spamfest on NG. By the way,
Yeah,
I saw some scrims with him, and he was just mopping up floors.
They have Harbs and they have Skyrolla,
Oh, yeah, they got all of that. And Skyroller's probably an upgrade from what they had last season. Pretzel. So they got
Nothing against Pretzel, but yeah, Skyrolla is great for main calling too, and smarts.
And they got my favourite Insomniac Catsi on Pyro as well. She's quite good as well. So they've still got all of their talented players. It's just they don't practice them, so they're not quite as good. But come playoff, they start keying it up. They'll be top team. No
How about
question about it.
DRS?
DRS. How did they win this tournament? How?
Wow. How did they?
How have you seen?
Oh,
Have you seen?
Grit
Like, I played with
and
Cabler
stamina.
on Medic. Cabler on Medic. Cabler doesn't even like pop his own Ubers. No way, that's not the way of putting it. He doesn't know when to pop Ubers, and this is a guy who's been called top 3 medic in Platinum by Mustard Overlord.
I think that's
Hyder
because
Fox
Mustard.
is better than Cabler. That's
it's easy to call your own medic the best, though, isn't it? You can call your own
True.
medic top 3.
But I think it
I mean,
works.
when I played against them on COF, when UBS, played medic with UBS a few times on the season. They had terrible on the Lakeside. I just never was like particularly impressed by any of them really. Mustard Overlord obviously going crits all the time. He's a very predictable player. He's just going to run crits, this, that. So I'm very surprised they won, but they just pulled everything together on in that evening. They just played incredibly well. Like, some amazing TF2. So I can't really say. Like, I don't think they're going to win it. They'll choke at some point because it's Mustard Overlord. He'll probably talk over everybody when they play in. They'll fail, but they'll lose at some point, 5th or 6th again.
Ooh.
But they played really well on that Invitational. You can't take that away from them.
That was the thing in the Invitational. Every time it looked like they came down to the 3rd round or whatever, the round they had to win, they won it. They were able to pull it through. So you don't think they're going to be able to pull that again into these playoffs? Like, they won the playoffs last season, won some games in the playoffs last season without anybody expecting that. And then just sometimes when, push comes to shove, it seems like this is the type of team, and especially with Mustard Overlord behind you and calling all the shots, that it could be the team to pull off some huge upsets in the
My
playoffs.
theory is that when they made those comebacks, Mustard Overlord got so excited he forgot to talk for 5 seconds, and then everybody realised what they had to do.
So, of course, the
Drama.
I've been watching
Absolutely.
scrims on Try Hard Johnny's stream, and he's pyro for them, and obviously he's a really great pyro. And you do listen to the comms, and it's constantly Mustard talking, but it's constantly giving, calls. And if you're a player and you're not the main caller, you need to receive these calls and then do them.
It's
And I
true,
don't
actually.
understand why there's this.
Micromanaging. Yeah, he's probably, because now that he's in control of his own team, he's one of those players that has to be in control of his own team, like micromanaging players. He's a little bit like me, to be fair, except I'm way better and smarter. Sorry, Mustard. Although I don't have quite as good a beard, but I'm working on that. I've been
Wow, we
growing
got
this for
Hildreth.
6 weeks. But he's one of those players who has to micromanage everybody. And we played. This is a long ancient history of Highlander. Season 6, we had him on our team as a backup soldier. We played him in one scrim. He would not shut up. Like, he just kept going on making the most pointless calls. NG hit 50, but he's would go into health pack. I'm down. I tried to place a rocket to bounce him away from the health pack to prevent him, but I failed, unfortunately. Like, we were all trying to call shots, and he just would not shut up. And then, so when he's the leader of a team, it's perfect because he can make all the calls that he wants and he thinks are important, and obviously the team gets behind him because he's built that team around himself, and it works really well, to be honest, for them. I do like to mock him for the amount he talks, though.
Really?
Well,
No.
Well,
We hadn't noticed.
let's get into someone who also likes to talk a lot. Tell us about yourself.
I agree.
Me?
What is your history? You said you started playing. I don't remember what you said because
Well,
I don't remember.
I'm 23. I like walks in the park and holding hands and ice cream. What do you want
I
to
think
know?
that sums it up.
My-
All right.
What kind of ice cream, though?
Yeah.
Who was your
Let's be
first
particular
team?
here.
Stop being so vague.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I started playing this game. I'm going to go on ETF12 and just find out when I joined. If you give me a
Who is-
second.
You're off the show, Hildreth. Good
All right. Well, first of all, we have a break. We want to remind everybody to put your questions for Hildreth in chat if you're watching this live on Twitch, and also we want to give a shout out to TurboCop, who is having to do work things, I think, at this time.
He's on an airplane or something, flying to the moon, I think. Alice.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
but-
was
Put your questions, guys, in chat because DJ is going to be collecting them into a ball and rolling them up, and we're gonna do a little
gonna eat
question
them.
segment at the end, and he's gonna throw it in a basket. Net.
Yeah.
When did you start ETF2L, Hildreth? 20 years
Oh.
ago?
Oh, it wasn't that long
tender
ago.
age of 3.
I joined my first team Lagtastic game in 6-on-6 1,538 days ago.
Wow, which is
How many is that in American
several
years?
months.
Let me just use the calculator.
Someone has someone at the door.
We call them freedom years here.
Freedom.
No, that was about. That was something just around just over 4 years ago. I played competitive a little longer than that because I played actually played Highlander before. I played sixes back when Highlander was very very small, in like pugs in a pug group, and then I played some sixes in pugs, and then I got into a new computer, and then I can play sixes. Yeah.
So tell us about that. All right, so you had obviously EATF2L experience. Tell us about your UGC experience then.
Oh, but ETF2 is so much better.
We'll
Wow.
get to that in a second, but tell us about those teams you've been
Okay,
on.
so UGC, after the ETF2L Highlander Community Challenge, UGC made their third season of Highlander, and I joined. My community team is called Lazy Town Regulars, and we're now known as UBS, Unbelievably Brave Sweethearts. They're still going, with just Polk. He's the only original survivor from that team, and we signed up to UGC, and because we did so well, we were one of the best North American teams. We got into Platinum and we came 5th. And I think Dashner, who is in the chat, because I've seen his name on here, if that's Dashner will remember our epic rivalry against Inglorious Broadcasters from the back in the day. I wonder if he's on the chat. I want him to say something, Dashner. But yeah, that was the start of Season 3. I didn't actually play Season 4 because it's summer season. Season 5, I didn't play.
Summer fun.
So
They call
Yeah.
that the summer fun season.
yeah, I don't know what their sense of fun is. That's not mine. I played in Season 6 on UBS. We reformed, kicked some of the players that were inactive, got rid of some of the back burner pyros that were on our team. This was back in the day where to be on a top 4 team in Platinum, you didn't need any competitive experience at all. This is in Season 6. You didn't need any competitive experience, and your pyro could run back burner. Those are the
Yeah.
times, man.
Look at
So,
times.
And in that season we came 4th, and that was the season Ruin won Looking Handsome the UGC title by carrying them. What?
Right, so why do you do North American Highlander?
Why do I do
Or
North
why
America?
have you in the
Like,
past?
how did you get involved doing the Invitational? That was a huge event. Obviously, we saw right here
Right.
on
What do
X
you-
Television. How did
Do-
that come to be?
How did that come
Sure.
to be? I'm trying to think. Like a few months ago, I thought that I should do some sort of a TF2 event. It'd been a while. The last thing I'd organised had been Ginyu versus SNSD show match.
Mhm.
So I thought I'd do something, and I was kind of inspired by the Zowie Cups because I had like 3 or 4 different ideas on what to do. It started off with like some thing where you get 9 players from UGC Platinum who main Pyro and put them in a Highlander team against 9 players who play UGC Platinum from Spy. It started off like that, and I realised that it was going to be really ridiculously hard work, so I eventually settled for the sort of like Zowie-esque Highlander tournament and see what happens with it.
It was good. It went off well. You just know all these people. You know everyone in UGC, and you can just connect up with all of them. Magic.
Most of them, but the main thing is they know you get a whale, so you got to get your name out there. Get your name put on a sign somewhere in TF2.
I already have billboards, but it's in my own town, so I'm not sure if it's accomplishing what I need
On
to
the
do
island.
with it. Seems like it might have been a foolish purchase on my part, actually. Okay, now I'm off track.
So were you pleased with the success of the tournament? Did it do what you wanted it to do?
Got a lot of viewers, so I was hoping a bit more viewers. I was hoping we would. Well, I was hoping it was a little bit bigger, but you know, it was still good. It was still a very good tournament. It was mostly on schedule.
Got donations and stuff. There was
Yeah.
one of the casters sang from Aladdin, and I mean that was a good thing.
I didn't expect it to get many donations
Somebody
because
in this
TFTV
room.
were not very keen about the donation side. It was hard work just to get them to even do it. I mean, I could have gone to XTV; they would have gladly plugged it and designed their own HUD. But I thought TFTV had more of an outreach to the wider community. I'm not sure if that was the right choice, but who knows? It's good to just get TFTV cast in Highlander again because they haven't done it for a while.
Definitely true. Also, just want to give a quick interjection. Those VODs are now on TFTV's YouTube. So you guys should definitely check those out. Especially DRS versus GC, which came down to
The Wire.
milliseconds. Absolutely ridiculous.
So Hildreth, why is Highlander in North America so much better than European Highlander?
You know, I'm not sure if it is anymore from what I've seen. To be
How is
honest.
it different?
What?
Can you talk about how it's different
Okay.
in your view?
How is it different? Well,
And I can agree or disagree because I cast both,
I'll give you
sir.
for the thank you for calling me sir. For the European scene, there's a sort of like a skill differential between certain classes. It's hard to describe because the North American spies, like when I was playing against Pulse, that guy scared me properly. I hid in the corner when I was playing medic on a dispenser. And you got Pulse, you got like Stabby, all of these Akuma, and some that don't even play anymore, like, hey, ridiculously good spies. And then in Europe, you know, you got Hurry, he's won it 3 times, and that guy's like a pub spy. So, well, it's a bit harsh on him. He's decent, but he's just, in comparison, he's just,
So
there's no comparison. Inso is really good. He's the one, like, spy that you can really compare. But
I know what you
spy
mean.
is a class.
There's
where
not as many
simple
standouts.
players.
I get what you're talking about.
Sniper, another one is Sniper. Like the snipers in North America are much better. Like Tweak is the sniper in Europe, and every time we see him come against a North American, he's been destroyed. So it kind of says a lot. They've got like better. The Americans, you have better classes like Scouts, for example. I mean, to put it into perspective, Furbo, who's played on my Sixes team, we were a low Prem team. We came 7th in ETF2L Prem. That's like worse than Mangachu level. Just to put it into perspective, and he was probably the best scout in Highlander. So, him or Lazy Bear.
Well,
So
what
you're
about demo
better-
man? Like Kaitis is a really great demo man in the Europe scene, and
Yeah.
people argue that he could be better than Banny if they were to ever face off again, and that he gave Banny a run for his money before.
Cadis? It's not Kaitis.
Well, some people say Kaitis.
Yeah, Americans
Cadis.
are wrong.
It's okay. Don't worry. We're North America.
Cadis is probably the most talented, technically gifted demo man you will
Yeah.
ever see play TF2.
Yeah, he's
It's
really
like it's like if you guys watch what you call soccer. You know how you got players who are ridiculously skilled dribbling the ball.
Mhm.
He's like one of those players. Like he's got all this flair and talent, but it's like sometimes with Cadis, especially in Highlander, when you got to pass the ball, he doesn't do it. He tries to go it alone and do these solo plays.
Mm-hmm.
So he does give his life away a bit too much. That's what I noticed playing against him in Highlander.
Okay.
There are
But,
good
so,
team demos though when you Emilio guys like that. But how about like in teams in general, in terms of like play style? Do you find Euro style plays more aggressive? Because that's what I sometimes find at the high level. The top, say 3 or 4 teams in Euro Highlander, when I see their matches, because every Monday I cast a Europlat match and then I do a North American match. When we did Gravel Pit, we had IAG and someone else, and it was super aggressive. They were right out of the gate like crazy.
Yeah.
And then the NA teams were more sort of conservative and kind of laying back and kind of not wanting to engage. Would you
better
agree
game
with that?
has evolved in Europe because for so long, everyone obviously knows the story. If you haven't lived under a Highlander rock, or if you're of a reasonable age of playing, everyone knows how dominant SNSD were in the way they played, and they weren't necessarily aggressive. They were just better than everybody. So the last season, probably say 6 months or so, teams have, since they lost on the season 4 grand final, teams have developed and got better. That's coincidentally when I started to take Euro Highlander serious. Just a coincidence. But we never won the ETS2 last season. We came second. So the teams have developed themselves and got better and better. Like Killswitch and us, we developed like really aggressive playstyles. Killswitch are ridiculously aggressive. They go off. They don't even wait for Uber. Like it's sort of a lot of it is like trying to copy how some of the American teams play it. Like the first time I ever saw the Syndicate versus SNSD in that Highlander show match from a long time ago, is kind of remember the SNC getting a really good like 5-minute cap time, and then the Syndicate were just like 3.5-minute cap, and then it just surprised me, like, because I've never seen SNC be broken so easily with aggression. And that's sort of like they sort of developed from the American style of doing it, but now the American style amongst the best teams, I would say the best teams are still ridiculously aggressive because they know when to be aggressive, but some of the other teams don't do it because they're not as good, or they don't like it, or they're not as comfortable. They just want to wait for Uber. I don't know, to be honest.
Do you think that's the key for some of these newer American teams? Try to learn to play a more aggressive style. Do you think?
Which teams did you watch, for example, that were waiting?
Where? In NA, you mean?
Yeah, in NA.
Geez, I think the gravel pit match was GC versus Murderforce, and so it was two really good teams, but it was like night and day out of the gates. Like in the Euro match, they were right out of the gates, and it was Killswitch, I think. They popped right away, and it was in encounters right away, and then in the North American one, with GC and Murderforce, they held on to their first Ubers for like 3 minutes, and I was really surprised by the difference.
Yeah, I think it's strange. Gravel Pit's a tactical map. When we played it, teams like to suicide. It's one of the things I noticed on the map. So probably the Americans, they wanted to like definitely get a pick and suicide, but they probably didn't have the right sort of time to go, because it can be, if you hold gravel pit correctly, it can be ridiculously hard to get a good Uber attacking, so teams would prefer to wait than have a bad Uber. So I'm guessing that's how they do it. It's all good, the sort of team that gets in your face anyway, so it doesn't surprise me they just jump at you. They had a strategy where they just pushed B, I think, straight away off the bat. They don't care. I think some of it is how you defend points, because I think some European teams are not as good as defending. I think Gentlemen's Club would be really good at defending, like they would force you to Uber really early, whilst a European team would give you more respect. So that might be the reason why they just kept waiting in spawn. It's hard to say. You can't decide anything until you see the teams play against each other. But I don't think they're better. Like the best teams, us, Killswitch. There are a few other teams that are coming up now. Like SNSD are back. The best teams could give Gentlemen's Club a run for their money, really, depending on the map. I have to see. Depends if Max is hacking or not.
Well, let's talk about maps. Let's talk about this week's map. Process, as we've been instructed to call it.
Or Process.
Process.
Some of us call it. Maybe.
Do you have thoughts on Process? It's kind of a recent inclusion in Highlander map pool. Definitely a staple of sixes for a while, but then the past few seasons, I think it's just been definitely more prevalent in Highlander. What's your opinion of Process?
Process. It plays quite well because there's a lot of space in certain areas, so you can, especially push in sort of the middle second area. Excuse me. There's a lot more space to do things, like in comparison to Granary when you're pushing seconds. There's that like horrible choke points that make it really hard, and in Process there's a lot more space to play with, so you got like more chances for certain classes to do things like on the flank. You can be more creative with Ubers. Some teams, it really annoys me to watch teams just push through the same choke. They don't know that they can push sewer far left, or they can push IT far right. And from IT they got two options. They can go through the door, they can go under. They got so many things you can do on the map. So I think it's a good 5 CP map. Probably one of the better ones for Highlander.
Made me sneeze just then. That's how good the map is.
The map did that, everybody.
Yeah, Process did. So we're looking at it right now on the stream. We'll fly through. Is it... I don't know what to ask about Process. I like it a lot. Cole, do you have any comments or questions on the map?
I love the race to mid. I love how fast Devilmen and soldiers can roll out, and use the geometry to surf up and over stuff, especially this this little hill right here, just before you get to mid. I've seen Cadis. Did I say it right?
Yes.
I seen him surf off the first hill and then actually make it to the second staircase and to the health pack. If you haven't seen it, look it up on YouTube.
It's a pretty sick rollout.
He has a sick rollout.
Can I give you like a bit of knowledge about that, because it doesn't actually work as effectively as you'd think getting to middle so quickly. Because if you get to middle so quickly, you're completely isolated from your team, and you're weaker, slightly weaker.
Yep.
So a lot of the time when he does that rollout, especially mainly in sixes, it doesn't seem to like just win them the middle. He just kind of gets like bombed, counter jump by Aroma, and then he doesn't really do anything.
I wasn't advocating that it was correct. I said it was very interesting to watch.
It's a really good rollout. The only time I've seen it be effective is when they play the Australian teams pre-I-49, but the Australians didn't know how to deal with it. As long as you know you're playing against Cadis, he's going to be fast, so you just got to have a counter plan to it. It's not super effective. You need to do damage when you get to middle, early damage, or it's worthless. So it's not the most amazing thing. So if you're bad at rollouts, don't worry.
Yeah. Other than the map being really long, I think it's great. I like it.
Okay.
So what, in particular on the map, for use in Highlander, what are some key parts to the map in terms of pushing and or holding the map?
Sorry, were you talking to me? I wasn't listening.
Yes, please.
Blacked out.
Yeah, but what's the question again? Sorry.
In terms of Highlander, what do you think are the important key points in pushing and holding specific points?
Which point?
Let's start with last.
Let's start with last.
Yeah, let's talk last.
Let's start about
Holding
pushing
the
in
point.
last.
Oh god, it's hard to push into last. It's hard to really say, 'cause a lot of the time you kind of need some big kill, especially teams are defending it properly. There's two ways you can defend it, which is both really effective. Is you can have your combo like far back hidden, your flank class is sort of like denying space in the choke points. So like a soldier spamming in the tight corridor, snipers looking through area, making it really hard to go into, that sort of thing. And having like scouts poke around doors, denying snipers sightlines. So you can defend like that, or you can just have your combo really close, spamming doors and your flank on one side of the map. It's really hard to push into last. The best thing to do is to try and like catch. You can do things like suicide half your team, force them to push out and make it a bad push. That's how a lot of rounds are won. You get like a miracle play from your sniper, your spy. You get a good Uber fight. Like you get a good Uber fight on one side of the map, and you get picks with your Uber, and then you stay in, and then their counter Uber's ineffective. That tends to win you a lot of rounds. It's really hard. The main important thing is not to rush it and just pick the right moment to go in and have a good plan. And if it's going badly, don't commit. That's about it. Really. It's a hard point to push, but last point should be hard.
How about pushing out of last? Is it easier or harder than a map like, say, Gully Wash, or to push out of last? It's not the hardest one to push out of.
It's just there's not very much distance between the points, to be honest.
Yeah.
So you can get out really quickly. So it's quite an easy map to push out of in comparison. That you can push off of a few kills. But you have to really be quick. There are a lot of good entrances to push out. Like you can go on that left side near IT, and you got cover, and you can get your team cap in. And it's harder to back up on this map. So yeah, it's easier to push out on this map.
I'm having buggy moments with my Twitch chat. I don't know how it's working for anyone else. There was
it's horrible for
did
me.
you get the other question there about process sixes, DJ?
I did. Do we want to go to questions or?
Yeah, while we're on the topic of process, I was just thinking, while we're already talking about it.
All right, we can pull up that question then. Okay, so the dark one, I'm going to pronounce that 3 is an E, asked, he wants to know about the viability of process in sixes versus Highlander, specifically in terms of stalemating. Like, is it worse or better for sixes or for Highlander in terms of stalemating?
Last point is really stalemate anyway, so it's about the same. Its second point, again, it depends really how you hold it, because I've watched the ESEA lands when they played it, the Americans, because of the way their system works, you're not encouraged to be aggressive. So teams will literally sit there and wait for like what they call the tag bomb, the run Roma play, or they'll wait for something to happen. In Highlander, you can do the same thing if you want to. It's entirely up to the team that's attacking to dictate the pace, and it can be a difficult point to push point to, but you have to really utilize the full areas of the map. That you got the sewer area, which gives you, if you can control it, it gives you a good range for your sniper to do stuff. Or you can push out the far left side of the sewer, and often if you can get through the initial spam, you can get close to them and maneuver. Or you can push through IT and get close to them and get people behind them. Or you can push lower IT, get people behind them, get close to them, and you can do repushes through grass. I think the most important thing about the map is not to do the same thing over and over again, like push through the choke point, because that's how you get stalemates, because you always die.
Yeah. I see that a lot, people trying to push into mid that way, coming in through the tiny friggin' IT door, and that's just can't do that.
Alright. Did we want to go to the other question, or wrap up with the last things and go to the rest of the questions afterwards?
Well, we can do it per the show notes. This says, "What's next for Hildreth?" So what's next for Hildreth?
What's next?
Yeah, when's the next Highlander Invitational?
Yeah, tell us everything.
When's that?
Tell us about your life. Bring us inside the life of a Hildreth.
Inside the life of a Hildreth.
I don't think I will.
She doesn't want to know, so no.
Not too deep inside the life, but
No, you sure?
Scratch the surface.
Well, in terms of TF2 terms, at the moment, Sixes season, our team died a little bit. I stopped playing Sixes, put a bit more time for Highlander, and now I'm sort of playing 2 nights a week with a new Sixes team, entirely composed of European Highlander players. You know, Mookie.
Any names?
You know Mookie from It's All Good, Lazy Bear?
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys.
Lazy Bear's
Tracker.
sick. Tracker's sick as well.
Oh.
Zoob, who was on my Sixes team. Steve, the Pyro, is now Steve the Medic.
Oh, really? How is he on Medic? Is that what he's playing on that new Highlander team, too? Where they all are off-classing? Yeah.
The joke.
It's not going to work. Yeah, the joke team.
I don't know. I don't pay attention.
I don't either.
Well,
But those are all good players. What's it like playing with all those guys? Has it been fun so far?
Yeah, pretty fun, but they're not as good on... Me and Zoob, we 3 Sixes, we played together for about 2 years, and we got promoted to Premiership, which is the invite equivalent if you don't know. So, and it's Bella, because Epsilon won I-49, no, it's about the same skill, to be honest. So we're more experienced than Mookie, Lazy Bear, and Tracker, and Steve, so they're all very, none of them played above Div 3 in Europe, which is the equivalent of, I don't know, intermediate, I think, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. ESEA is dying now. It doesn't matter. Who cares? CEVO's where it's at. So.
Just do Highlander here. Just Highlander.
Yeah.
So they're not as good. That's what I can say.
They're not as good? Wow. So you're calling out your own teammates? Some of the star Highlander Euro players?
Yeah, but Sixes are different formats. You play them differently.
Mookie's probably... I can see those guys all playing well in Sixes, man. Other than maybe Steve on Medic. No offense against Steve. He's a great pyro.
Steve's quite good.
He's a fantastic pyro.
I'd say go as far and say Steve is the best pyro in the world. I rate him a lot. Yeah.
So call outs to all you pyros out there. Steve.
Steve
than you.
is where it's at. But
yeah. So you're playing on this Sixes team, that's awesome. Like, is that most of what you've been doing lately?
That obviously High Panda, my European team, is where we're trialing new players. We lost the ETF2L final after coming first, which is disappointing. The game was DDoS for about 2 hours, which was fun. I know it was DJ. You don't have to pretend that it wasn't you. Okay, I'm not happy.
I'm sorry.
He's a big DDoSer. I don't know. We gotta talk to him about that.
Okay.
It's an addiction of mine. I just can't stop.
Yeah,
getting his own
do it again.
A&E
Yeah,
series
I'll
about
forgive
it.
you.
He's addicted to DDoSing on A&E.
I need help.
I can tell.
Be fun.
But sign-ups for next ETF2 Highlander season just started, right?
Yeah, it was a lot
So
earlier
you
than
guys
I
are-
expected. So we're trialing people. I wanted to reshuffle the roster a little bit, see if we could find the sniper that hacks, like max level hacks. It's
Like
kind of
Tracker.
hard.
Why can't Tracker do it?
He doesn't like Highlander 6 is where it's at with him.
He doesn't like to hack either.
Yeah, he's apparently a hacker. He's not as big a hacker as some of the other snipers I've seen from like certain teams, like Chess Club maybe from last season. Yeah, he's gonna get banned. But he's yeah, we're trying to find a sniper spy. We're just experimenting with people. We might keep on normal sniper. We're definitely getting a new medic because our current medic isn't interested. We're getting a new engineer. Kip, if you wanted, there's a spot open to trial it. Give it a go.
There you go.
I
You got
mean,
your
all we
offer,
have to do is put mini sentries down, and then
That's all I
it.
do.
and you win.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all you need for NG. So, and we also need to replace Furbo, who is the god of TF2. So he's an unreplaceable player that we need to replace.
Well, good luck in terms of that. I think we're running a little bit out of time, so that means why don't we get the question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
DJ?
Question. Sorry, I'm a little bit sick. So, I know the chat's been a little bit weird this broadcast. Twitch does weird things sometimes, but I
Yeah.
did pick up a couple of questions. We got Darkwind's question about process in Highlander and Sixes. We did get another question from, I believe that's pronounced Peter Kildatov. I think. And he's asking, I presume, for you, Hildreth, what do you think is the best player in the European League?
The best player,
Best player overall.
Other than yourself.
other than myself.
Yeah. And you have to say they're good looking too. Doesn't count.
Uh-oh. Oh, boy.
Whoops.
Potentially like the most talented or just like the strongest player. It's hard to say because each class brings something different. Sniper-wise, Tweak is ridiculous. Like Tweak.
How about you name a best one for each class? How about that? Best one for each Highlander class.
Yeah, I can do that. That's still currently playing. Lazy Bear probably on Scout. It's been playing really well. I'm still a big Zoob fanboy, but Zebasai is. If you don't know Zebasai, he used to play for TCM team that came second at I-49. He's coming in as soldier, so he'll be a good soldier to watch out for. So I don't know. It could be between him, Zoob, Mookie as well, T-Mac as well, and one soldier this season. They're all really good. Some really good soldiers. And Pyro, Steve, no question. Demoman, I can't say myself. Arcadis is the most talented player, but Emilio is probably
Team
the most
captain.
consistent. No, he's a cooler.
Leader.
He's aggressive at the right times.
Yeah.
But Cadis is probably better than him. So I'd say Cadis is probably the best demo man, but Emilio is more valuable to his team.
Yeah. It's a leader versus a DMer guy.
Yeah. Heavy. I'm really impressed with Piddox. I really like Piddox from Suki doing work. We're trying to see if we can trial him, but we've got Nigel on our team. I called him Nigel. He's got some Swedish name. I renamed him. He's like my pet. He's like my pet. So
I called him
Sorry,
Nigel on a cast, I remember.
yeah.
Yeah, it's easier.
I really like Piddox. Tech is probably the best though. Tech, best heavy. Engineer, it's gone to Japan for a year.
Yeah,
Pursue a
he's
career
right.
in anime or something, whatever
like
they do in Japan.
5 different teams lost their engineer because of Mint to being gone now.
Yeah, he's like up there with the Sigafus and the evils in terms of god engineers, the spamfests, the Kips. So I don't really know. It's kind of open. We'll see who comes up this season. Medic. The sucker's back.
Oh,
You guys-
boy.
You guys know the sucker? How can you not know the sucker? You look a bit confused, Getaway. Was he
I'm the
before your
guy that
time?
casts Euro. It might maybe some people who are watching this don't know as much about Euro casting.
Yeah, you don't know anything, don't lie. So
I don't know anything. That's true. I'll
it's
leave.
been declared.
Goodbye.
He'll be back.
Just kidding.
He always
He'll
comes
be,
back.
yeah.
The sucker's back on Merrick. He's very well known for dropping Ubers, and I gave him that unfortunate reputation by calling him out every time I casted him, and
Worse
he
than
hates me
Bulo.
now.
Oh,
As good as
yeah.
Bulo at dropping Ubers. Shout out to Bulo who rules.
oh my goodness.
The best medic is Hiji. The sucker is also quite good, but we'll see how he does when he gets back. But if I was playing medic, I'd be the best, you know. So it's
Well.
obvious. Obviously. Sniper Tweaks not playing anymore. Flippy's the standout sniper in the league, but he doesn't play on as good a team. Assuming that he doesn't get banned, that chess club sniper.
Who
I
snipes for
won't
them
say.
now?
You can say.
Who? I don't know who snipes for them
It's
now.
the
Did
guy
they
called
change it?
Elysium.
Oh,
Elysium.
okay.
He's suspicious. He's like
I thought they switched it up. I thought they got someone new, but it is still Elysium. All right.
he's pretty
Not
suspicious.
banned yet.
Yeah.
Talk to GPS knows more about snipers than me. Don't talk to me about it.
On GPS. Yeah.
Who's a
Okay.
good? Who's a standout spy to you then?
Inso. No questions.
Yeah.
There you go. There's your best European players. That's
the
everything
dream
you
team.
need to know. Well, it involves me on there, but you told me I can't include myself, so I had to pick someone else for scout, soldier, NG, demo, and medic.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
We did get one more question
that's
from
the one.
KMA17 in chat. He wants to know what your opinion is on TS.
The TS team, which
That's
TS
Syndicate?
team? Season 5 team, Season 6 team, Season 7 team, Season 8 team?
Let's go with season
9 team?
6.
Yeah.
Oh, I
season
can't remember.
6.
That was the season where TMP was there, like Pyro, and
Yeah.
Stabbing Ace still had people like Sexy Shane on Engineer. Yeah, he was pretty good. And they still had people like Sugar J on Heavy. I remember that team. They were like one of the better teams in the league that were looking promising. Then TMP had his little fallout, and then Rage quit several teams scrims, and they lost like 6 games in a row. So they fell apart. And then the Season 8 team. We'll know about the Season 8 team, the Super team, the best team in Highlander
Time.
of all time.
Is that what
was
you
a
think?
backup. Yeah,
Is it because you were on the team?
probably. I was the extra. Yeah, I played like 5 or 6 games. I played 1 game as engineer, 1 match against Squirrel Clickers, and we rolled them, and I didn't do anything but watch Jake headshot people. It got a bit boring. I remember Hein had this like went through these strategies for like an hour, or not an hour, half an hour, and like he was saying, so Hildreth, as engineer, I want you to go down the long tunnel and build mini sentries and wrangle them. And then I built a level 3. And then he was like, why are you building level 3s? Why not mini? I was like, hey man, I'll do it my way, okay? That's how it goes. And it worked. They like spent 2 hours trying to kill my sentry. So yeah, I played like 6 games of them as demo man, medic, engineer, which was interesting. I'm officially
Nice.
better than Collide with 130 ping, by the way. We beat Bonus 5-0 or about 3 subs. But that team was like the best team in Highland. The only game they had any problem winning was against MTS in the final,
Yeah.
which was a close game. But
We,
yeah,
oh, sorry.
what can I say, the best, and then I mained the next season, didn't go as well.
Not a coincidence, though.
I was gonna say
Mr.
that
Slim is saying his story is
we
boring.
have to cut it off because it's
It's
the
we're
end of the
tired.
show. We've been on the air for an hour, and finally
But-
now suddenly the show turns into the Twitch chat picks up.
Oh.
You know?
But we have to ask for your special
Not all
talent and your secret talent. And I know you weren't sure if you had one before, but we decided what it's going to be for you.
Yeah.
You're going to give us your best American accent, and you have to say this sentence. Boy howdy, I do enjoy playing engineer.
Yeah, I don't really see you have any sort of influence over me in terms of physical presence, so I'm not gonna do it.
Come on. People tuned in to see you talk
can
like
say-
a cowboy.
You don't have to say that. Say anything in an American accent. You did something earlier, and that was
When you
what
said
is-
Well,
soccer,
I went
it was very funny.
soccer.
Soccer.
Sacker.
You gotta
The
say
only
a
time-
sentence. Say a
Yeah,
sentence.
please say a sentence.
Come on. Dance like a
I'll
monkey.
give it a try. I'll do the only thing I know how to do in it, and it's the attempted impersonation of Barack Obama, which is where I go, my fellow Americans. No, I can't do it. I'm bad.
I sang in front of hundreds of people for
She
your
sang
Highlander
Aladdin.
Invitational. You
Over.
can't say a sentence.
You owe Kip.
She brought in hundreds of dollars
I
for
can't do
you.
American
Hundreds.
accents,
All right.
unless it's
Say
going
soccer like a real
soccer
pro.
or bopper, like that.
Trash.
Guess that's good enough for now.
Not so
I
hard.
just have to
You
take
can
it.
work-
Well,
You'll work on it.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'll work on it for you guys.
Well, we're just where are we at for time, Mr. Cold?
I think that's it.
Yeah, we just we've breached an hour, I think, just by a few minutes.
All right. So, any final shout-outs, thoughts, comments you want to give us, Hildreth?
Shout out to my Highlander team, and shout out to Steve for. Let's see. Is he watching? No, he's playing Porter 2. No, to hell with you, Steve.
Damn it, Steve!
Oh, and shout out to Kai, the attention seeker fox, as well.
Oh, hey, Kai.
And Polk.
I forgot that she was watching.
Okay.
All right.
Well, we
guys.
want to
Okay,
thank
cool.
you for coming on our show. It was fun. Did you have a good time? Maybe you can work on an American accent, and we'll have you on some other week.
Yeah, I'm not used to podcasts being this short. The ones we do with Classy Casts go on for about 3 hours.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Wow.
We get like
we
20
try to keep it
viewers.
snappy, you know.
No,
We try to
10
keep it.
viewers.
We try to keep it quick, like. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
Yeah, I shouldn't go on my stories about season
No?
6 TS.
Someone
No
didn't
one
like it.
cares. No one cares.
Slyn was chirping you out, but yeah.
He's just mad because he didn't get into season 8 TS.
Ooh,
Maybe a story
okay,
for next
well,
time.
on that note, thanks so much for joining us Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Kip, you're breaking up.
Oh, someone. Yeah, bye.
Beep,
Robot
bop,
man.
boop. I am a robot.
That's weird that she became a robot out of nowhere.
That's interesting.
Someone's DDoSing. Kip, help us.
DJ.
I think what she was saying is tune into X Television on next Monday for our Platinum Action.
That's right.
And, rate, comment, and subscribe. She has a note that we can't read because
The camera's not
quality of her
adjusting.
webcam is too low. Yeah. But
Hey.
I guess we'll call it. What else we want to say?
We want to say, yeah, tune into Twitch TV/XTV Esports next Monday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern for our next coverage of Platinum Highlander. We're gonna return here, same channel, but about 8:15, 8:30 Eastern time for another 9 and Out. And our VODs are going to be up on youtube.com/comft. That's COMMFT. And anything else we're now? UGCleague.com. Better sure to check them out and get in some of those last-minute donations. Anything else?
No. That's
Running
it.
out of air here.
Thanks for
Well,
watching,
just said.
guys.
All right. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah. Have a great night.
Bye-bye,
Bye-bye.